Hello there, Brandon Bailey here. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Here to follow up yesterday's music discussion video on ranking MGMT's discography with my top 10 songs from them. And like some of the artists that I've done on here already, I pretty much had a previous top 10 list from them worked out in the past. But I really wanted to give a more realistic take on these, given that I'm writing out reviews for them and everything. And I kind of want to judge, kind of the point of these is to judge where my current standing on a lot of these discographies sits. And obviously my top 10 songs represents that to some degree. So as much as I may not want to budge with some of these lists, I have to some degree to, just to update them. Sometimes I just feel different ways. So that being said, this MGMT list is almost not altered from my previous one at all. Maybe a couple rearrangings, and I think I swapped out one song, maybe. I think I swapped out one song. I'll have to check that again. But anyway, so we have a couple rearrangings here and an addition, but otherwise mostly everything is similar to how it's been for the past couple years for me. Anyway, let's kick it off. Actually, let's not. Let me tell you first. Below here, try to remind myself every video, but below here in this video, you click that show more thing in the description, and at the bottom of the description will be a Spotify playlist with these top 10 songs. And you can go back to any of the top 10 songs videos, and in those descriptions will be a Spotify playlist for the top 10 songs in this video. In case you want to vibe with my tastes, or, just kind of see what it's all about, what I'm talking about. And then on top of that, if you're having trouble finding my videos, if you go to my channel, there are two different playlists, one for the discography rankings, so you can binge watch all of these once there's enough to binge watch, and then there is a playlist for my top 10 songs videos, so, you can follow suit with them. But anyway, I'm trying to make this a pretty enjoyable and interactive experience for the viewer. Anyway, now we can get into it. Number 10 of my MGMT Top 10 Songs video is Alien Days off of the self-titled. Not to give too much away here, but it is my only track off of the self-titled on this list. And there was definitely some honorable mentions, sure, a couple more songs that I hated to not put on here, but Alien Days was the one to me that stuck out above all the rest. It's the only, I don't want to say it's the only one, but it's pretty much the only song on that album that seems to be like a clear hit, just a strike home run, as far as just making a catchy song that could have potentially been a big deal, but I don't think it was as big of a deal as they had hoped. It still kind of was, because I got a hold of it in this album somehow back then. But yeah, it's just got such a weird vibe about it when it comes in with that weird keyboard solo, that like, it's just got such a weird vibe. The lyrics are so cool. I think it sounds like they're literally talking about aliens and stuff like that, but I think they're talking about kind of being alienated from their audience and I guess their own musicality, the vision that they had gone for in the first place with MGMT. I think this very much reflects that, and it's just still such a psychedelic but accessible song to me, and the lyrics are so crazy, so many changes throughout it too, like most of their songs, which make it so good and sets it apart from really a lot on the self-titled. Anyway, number 9, moving on, we got Someone's Missing, my first track on here off of Congratulations. This one is definitely more of a simple one for that album, probably the simplest song on there, I would say, And it's still pretty complex for that, because the main thing that I really like about it is how the two different parts of the songs are juxtaposed to one another. It starts out being pretty mellow and kind of sad sounding, and then moves into that upbeat kind of coda at the end of the song. It feels like someone's missing. Like, it just gets all happy. It's such a blend of dark and then light. Dark in the beginning and then light at the end. And it's such a cool concept. It kind of sounds like someone was missing, and then they found this someone at the end of the song. And I love the lyrics in this song again too. All their lyrics are really so interesting and cool, but this song's just got such a cool structure and composition, and I think it stands out as being like one of the more poppier songs on Congratulations. Number 8, we have the self-titled song to their last album, Little Dark Age, and god damn, this song is a total bop. Just everything about it just bumps in that dark kind of like club scene kind of way, and it's so cool. It's kind of got like some 80s-esque new wave features on it with some of the synth patches and stuff, but it still has that MGMT fucking psychedelic neo-psychedelia vibe, basically. I just like how the lyrics of this really reflect their state of mind and their opinion on their own career and everything like that, and what people seem to expect from them. It's so cool, and right, with this coming out right before COVID, I felt like it was like a perfect theme song to that at the time, whether intentional or not. But yeah, love the dark vibes of this. Every time that bass hook hits that, like, it's so cool. You just gotta jam out to this one. Like, every time it comes on, I'm just non-stop bopping. Alright, number 7, also off of a Little Dark Age, and I'll say this now, next few songs are going to be off of that album, but number 7 off of there is When You Die. This song, similar to Little Dark Age, just has a dark connotation about it, that and yet still so boppy, just makes you want to bop along the whole time. But the lyrics of this might be some of my favorite in their whole discography. Just the whole "go fuck yourself, I'm mean, not nice," and then, just the honesty and like kind of sort of like self-loathing nature of this song, and it's sort of speaking to how they don't really give a fuck like what their fans think about them, and the path that they choose to take throughout their music. They're gonna do whatever they want, and it all kind of like, all of your opinions don't really mean anything when you die, so who cares? Which kind of makes everything that I'm saying in these reviews arbitrary, because they are just opinions, and really, I do this to show love to these artists, and if I do have any criticisms, I try to make them constructive and to seem like it doesn't make me hate an album or hate the artist. I merely want to see them grow from these things that maybe I don't like about certain albums or something, or points in their career or whatever. But they're different people. I'm not one to judge anyone else's life, and I'm also a musician, so I try to respect that as much as possible, like with paying tribute to my heroes and influences, as well as being honest and realistic about how I feel about it. And I love that that's kind of how they're coming through on this song. They're kind of coming through as critics themselves on When You Die, but I just love the sarcasm in these lyrics and like how in your face they are. I never thought I'd hear them say fuck so many times in a song. When You Die, just such a cool, crazy song. It's got an awesome guitar solo, kind of sounds out of whack in it. Like, everything on this album sounds out of whack, but like that song is so crazy and weird. Alright, moving on. Number 6, like I said, also off of Little Dark Age, we have TSLAMP, Time Spent Looking at My Phone. And oh my god, if this isn't just like the perfect I hate to say it because I hate using these terms or giving into any of these sort of stereotypes, but like if this isn't the perfect like millennial like theme song, I don't know what is. I know there's lots of songs that talk about these messages and stuff on here, but like, damn, time spent looking at my phone, man. This speaks truly to everyone today. All most people do is just spend time looking at their smartphone or their devices, and they just want to look at memes and endlessly scroll through things, and you know, left or right swipe on their dating apps or whatever the hell, or you know, even in our case, you know, we binge watch, you know, music review videos or anything music related. It's still social media. We just tend to use it to a more educational and positive degree. But this song really speaks to his frustrations with today's generation, and God, it kind of sounds like he's also expressing a little bit of honesty in the fact that, you know, he himself cannot give up the phone itself. It's such a staple of our culture at this point, all around the world. But this song has got such a groovy, like, sort of like R&B kind of feel to it, and so classic MGMT again. Got a great classical sounding guitar solo. I think it's played on a nylon string anyway, because when they play it live, he definitely does it on there. But damn, it sounds so cool and so precise. It's just got that really like like those fast licks in there, those really fast licks. Not something I thought I was ever gonna hear in a guitar solo from them, really. But yeah, it's just so wild, and the song's so catchy and so honest. It speaks to this generation so well. Yeah, definitely give that one a listen if you want to know what I'm talking about. Moving on, we got number 5. We got my last song that's going to appear on here off of Little Dark Age. It is Hand It Over. I know some people probably aren't expecting this one to be on here. Such a shocker to me. It is the last song on Little Dark Age, but I feel like it's such a good closer. And honestly, it's just such a chilled out, different kind of song for them. It just got this spacey, atmospheric vibe about it. And it seems like he's talking about, like, kind of taking over his reign on their creativity to a certain extent. Or taking over the reign on his life in general, or their lives, or whatever it seems to be about. But that's what I kind of get out of it. I love it has one of my favorite synth-like kind of sounds on it ever, that like, that rising, like, that's not what it sounds like really at all to me, but if you listen to the song, you know what I'm talking about. It has that classic kind of sound. I think there's something like it also in the song Midnight by Red Hot Chili Peppers. I think a couple songs by Papadosio, if you know who Papadosio is. But anyway, it's a sound that I really like. It's like this riser. Really cool. Love the chord progression to this, and love the chilled out, just like not much energy to them vocals, but they still got a lot of passion behind them. And yeah, it has this awesome little like steel drum sounding synth patch that comes in too, that kind of brings about a different texture. But really, the song is just so chilled out and vibey. I just can't help but love it more than really any of the other songs on there. Just especially with the backing vocals that come in with the hand it over, and like how it goes with the changes and shit. Whew, it just gives me chills every time. So good. Such a good song. Short, simple, sweet, but also still just psychedelic and dark enough to fit in with them. Moving on, we have at number 4 the title track from their second album, Congratulations. And this song, yeah, again, like Hand It Over, is like a totally more chiller, like, kind of atmosphere for them. The song's got this melancholy about it, right? And you know, obviously the main feature is those crazy like piano key lines in there, especially the main solo in it. Just the way those arpeggiated runs are played, it's so perfect. Like, it's Ugh, so good, dude. Like, goddamn, they have such good keyboard skills. But love the lyrics to this one too, just in all the sarcasm that they portray. And after you know about like where they are at this point in their career, it all makes so much sense and it speaks volumes. Yeah, I really love this song for all of that. Moving on, number 3, we have perhaps the most epic and experimental song from the debut. My first song on here. From that one on a Rectacular Spectacular. Of course, I'm talking about Of Moons, Birds, and Monsters. This song, yeah, is just straight up progressive rock. It has moments that come in that remind me of like Pink Floyd, and obviously like the standard MGMT affair with their vocals and the guitars, like the chords and stuff like that, and keyboards. But lots of different stuff going on here, like lots of different changes and flows that are sort of Beatlesy, like I said, sort of Pink Floydy. I don't know, just speaking in a lot of those different like progressive, psychedelic, pop and rock tones. But they're bringing it back in a fresher kind of sense. And I love the breakdown to this song. Like, I know the changes are great, but when it gets to the end, that's really where it takes off for me, is when it slows down and it gets to that like, it's just such a good motif, and like, God, they just ride it to the end and it just gets crazier and crazier with the synths that are being employed on it. Love that song so much, so epic, and it really shows where they were going from there after that. Like, if you dropped off after that album and you were like, what the hell is this Congratulations album? And you liked that song on a Rectacular Spectacular, I don't know what the hell is wrong with you. Pretty much the same thing, same kind of vibe that they were going for there, and I think that that's what they do best, and it's what interests me the most for sure. So yeah, how you dropped off after that, don't know. They definitely don't deserve any of the harsh criticism they got after their debut. Anyway, moving on, number 2. This was the hardest thing for me in this whole top 10 ranking. This was my number 1 song for them for a long time. I actually changed my top number 1 song in MGMT's catalog to the number 2 spot, which isn't that big of a drop, and the song I swapped it with was my number 2 previously, so it was hard. It wasn't a big change, but it was hard to fight for those positions. Anyway, number 2, also off of Oracular Spectacular, we have Fourth Dimensional Transition, which was previously my favorite MGMT song. Mainly from the title, because I love quantum physics and stuff like that, and of course they're talking about the fourth dimension, that being time, and fourth dimensional transition is such a play on words, with a song itself literally being a fourth dimensional transition from the start and end that you were listening to it. That is what a piece of music captures. But the lyrics to this really capture that vibe too. I really love the crazy psychedelic lyrics. Also, this goes for more of that like classic 60s kind of psych rock like kind of sound to it. It definitely has a lot of that modern MGMT neo psychedelia to it, but just with the way that those drums are pounding throughout it, that just constantly zooming, and the keyboard part that comes in, boom, 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 boom. It all speaks of that late 60s, early psych rock kind of stuff. Yeah, and like, geez, like, it just takes you on a total ride throughout the song. The chord progression, the way they change, and different parts are added in and out. They just really have nothing like this in their catalog, and that's really not the longest, most epic song that they have, but it speaks volumes of epicness to me, just in what they're trying to go for. Such a cool song. I wish more people would write about stuff that have quantum physics as themes and their music. But anyway, we are going to be moving on to number 1. And my favorite MGMT song, my biggest takeaway from doing all this listening of their discography again, is the magnum opus of their career, magnum opus of their second sophomore album. Congratulations. Of course, I'm talking about Siberian Breaks. And I think a lot of people would agree with me on that from what I've seen, that this is their best, most grand song. The changes in it are just wild. The first time I heard it, I definitely didn't see this coming from a mile away for MGMT. Had no idea they got this crazy with their songwriting and their structures. But this song's basically like 4 different songs stitched together. And each of the chord progressions and stuff are so awesome. Each change is so dramatic. And they're not really like that jarring. They're just kind of like you're flipping different channels on a TV and they're just taking you through this song. And really, as much as I love the lyrics and obviously all that I just talked about, the thing that really sells this song for me is just how it breaks down at the end and just goes into this awesome arpeggiated like MIDI synth extravaganza, I guess I should call it, because it's not really like a line. It's all about how all these lines kind of like coincide together and create this beautiful, dare I say, cacophony of synth sounds. And God, I just wish I could create like a awesome arpeggiated synth line just like this. Like it's a wonder like how they got it to sound exactly how they did here. But so cool, so trippy. Every time I just get so lost in that part of the song. And there's really not much pieces in music, especially rock and pop music, that go there or do that. It sort of takes on that like vaporwave sort of aesthetic for like a few minutes. And the build up to get there is just so nice, man. It's just like, I mean, maybe in referation to Siberia and mountains and stuff like that, maybe it's like you're going through these mountain passes and you're going on this journey, and the Siberian breaks are those changes in them. And then like, you know, the end where the synths start going all crazy like that is kind of like the climax of your journey. That's kind of how I see it. And the reason it's at the top is because I like any song that takes me on some wild listening journey like that. There's really nothing else like it. So yeah, that's my top 10 MGMT songs. Like I said, you can check out a playlist for them below in the description. Hopefully you like what I'm doing here and you want to like and subscribe to more of my content. And, you know, I'm just going to keep pumping them out. The next one that I'm doing is easily going to be the biggest discography I've done so far. And hopefully I can get it done in good enough time to actually get it uploaded after this one next week. We'll see. I'm talking about the Beach Boys next week, and they have 29 official albums. And that's just so much to get through. And we're going to see how I do with it. Because so far I have not gone above 9, which was how many Led Zeppelin had. So we're going to try and build it up from here. Hopefully everyone's getting excited for me to review all the Beach Boys albums, because that is a huge undertaking for anybody, even if you're like an expert in their stuff. Maybe it's even harder for the experts because you just know more to talk about. But yes, we're going to be doing that crazy of a discography next. So yes, I will see you in the next one. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day. You know, you guys have a great week, and I'll see you then. Peace and love.